Hello and welcome to the soft opening of Season 2 of Koi Cubed. I almost missed this week because I've been really busy. I haven't even gotten to hang my art up yet, but I didn't want to miss a week of news, so here we are with a soft Season 2 Koi Cubed opening. We're going to do a bigger, more exciting event once I've got the studio all set up, but for now, I didn't want to miss a week with you guys, so hello! I hope you're doing very well. I apologize, this episode is much later than usual. Usually we go about 2 p.m. PST, but again, I didn't know if I'd be filming today. So welcome to the new space. There's going to be art here, there's going to be books there, there's already some books there. Spidey's going to be here, he's going to be a pillow, and he's going to be a real cat. It's going to be exceptional. But for now, I'm in the new space and I'm talking to you about the news this week. Now, it is the Emmy nomination day 2020 right now today. I know some of you are aware I was up for your consideration for an Emmy nom, which was an honor in itself. We did not sink the nom, but the people that did are more than worthy. It is an incredible year for nominees. We were up for the Best Short Form Non-Fiction or Reality Program. That's the category we were in consideration for. So that ended up going to The Daily Show, the Samantha Bee's late night talk show, RuPaul, Poser, a bunch of incredible talent was nominated. So I, with a heavy heart, have to say we're not going forward in the race, but I was very, very flattered and honored to be in the For Your Consideration list at all, because those people that are up for the nomination are just wow. So that said, there was some insane nominees going on in the world of both. I'm in swim trunks because I haven't unpacked my clothes yet, so I just realized you can totally see my legs. These are swim trunks before the comments get going, and no, I do not have my unpacked pants yet, but again, I wanted to be with you guys here today, so here we are, in trunks. The nominees for the 2020 Emmys are as follows. The ones that I'm most excited about, there are pages and pages of nominees, so obviously we're not going to just read that because you can Google those things. But some of the ones I'm really excited for, we got Better Call Saul is up for drama series, as is The Mandalorian, which is one of the biggest surprises I think of the year. The Mandalorian is an Emmy-nominated show for Best Drama Series. I think it's cool that fandom and critical acclaim are starting to blend together. I would love to see how, you know, your Endgames and your Infinity Wars and those things would have fared in 5 years once fandom and critical acclaim blend even more, because I think this The Mandalorian Emmy nom is the beginning of a big zeitgeist shift. And it's pretty exciting to see. So The Mandalorian got a Best Drama nod, as did Ozark and Stranger Things. I don't watch a lot of television because there's just so many hours in the day, but I have seen the first season of Ozark, loved it. I'm obsessed with Stranger Things. I love all 3 seasons, so I'm really excited there. I'm a huge Breaking Bad fan, haven't caught Better Call Saul yet, but this nom, obviously, just another piece of the puzzle of getting me to want to see it even more, haven't had the chance. Over in the world of comedy, Curb Your Enthusiasm got a nod. The Good Place, which is the next show I'm watching after I finish Community. I'm on season 4 of Community. When I finish Community, 6 seasons in a movie, I'll be checking out The Good Place. I'm very excited for it. I am, however, pulling for one of my favorite shows of all time, and that is The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel got another comedy nom. I am very, very thrilled. That show is exceptional, and alongside those very lines, Sterling K. Brown is up for both This Is Us and his turn on The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Sterling K. Brown is my Professor X. That's who I want him to play. I know he's in Black Panther. I don't care. I need more Sterling K. Brown. He's one of my favorite actors working today, and he got 2 nominations this morning. Very excited for that man. He is spectacular. We quickly got a super chat over in the super chats. I'm going to jump back into the nominees after I say hello to Movie Fanobi. What's up, Movie Fanobi? We just spoke last night, I think, on that other show I did. Coy, you were delightful on streams recently. Love to you and Spidey Cat. Always more Spidey Cat. Congratulations on new opportunities and adventures, Steve. Now I know Movie Fanobi's name is Steve. What up, Steve? I appreciate the hell out of you. For now, this Spidey Cat is here. I think real Spidey Cat is running amok. He is enjoying the new space because he has a lot more room to do laps like a crazy person. So Spidey will be making appearances as often as possible. He is not here at the moment, but we appreciate your love and your super chat, and he will make appearances. He's the mascot for the Quirky Mercs and for KoiCast and for Koi Cubed. He's my boy. I love that man. So I appreciate the love, good sir. Back to the world of Emmy nominees, we also got for limited series Little Fires Everywhere. I kept hearing that pop up. I have not seen that show, but it got a ton of love from the Emmys. But the big one for me, one of its 26 nominations, I think not just the best show this year, but the best show in years. I would argue my favorite show since Breaking Bad. I would argue my favorite comic book show ever. Watchmen got 26 Emmy nominations. It got them for technical, it got them for acting, it got them for limited series. There is so much Watchmen love, and you gotta, like, it was prophetic. It was shining a light on very dangerous things in America. It was somehow improving on the source material of the first graphic novel, which is damn near impossible, because if you told me 5 years ago that a Watchmen show would be a sequel that's worth watching, I wouldn't have believed you. If you'd said it would have made me like the graphic novel more, I'd be like, I already like it more than you can possibly like it. And then it made the Ouroboros of mediums better. It made TV better for showing that graphic novels can be improved upon. It made graphic novels better for showing you can adapt them to another medium if you have the gumption. Just so much freaking love for everything Damon Lindelof and team did with Watchmen. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II was on my show Comic Book Shopping, as was Damon Lindelof, talking all about Watchmen. So if you want to see any of my coverage talking about those glorious gentlemen's crazy minds, check out Comic Book Shopping with both Damon and Yahya. I couldn't love the show more. It is a clean A+. It is a 10 of 10 for me. So it getting 26 nominations is exactly how I think it should go. I really hope it wins limited series. Much respect to the rest of the shows nominated, but there is nothing like Watchmen in my humble opinion. Over in lead actor in a drama series, I am very, very much pulling for my boy Sterling K. Brown for This Is Us. I have a lot of love for Jason Bateman. I think Ozark is spectacular. Steve Carell in The Morning Show I've heard is great. All of these gents are titans in their industry, but Sterling K. Brown, it's another level. Lead actress in a drama series. I have not actually seen any of these shows since season 1 of Ozark, but Laura Linney was incredible on Ozark, and then Zendaya is just the best. So I'm always going to be pulled for Zendaya as a human. Zendaya for Euphoria, which I haven't seen yet. I need to very much. It's on my short list. I think it's number 11 in the queue for shows I need to watch. Zendaya getting the nom makes me want to watch it even more, and I'm just happy for her. She's such good people. Lead actor in a comedy series, I'm going to be pulling for who we got here. I have not seen The Good Place, but it's next on the docket. So Ted Danson's obviously up there. Big Don Cheadle fan in general. Obviously, I've got a bit of a Marvel love for Mr. Don Cheadle, so I'm going to go Don Cheadle or Ted Danson here. Lead actress in a comedy series. I love Linda Cardellini so much, and I haven't seen Dead to Me, but I got to give it to Rachel Brosnahan for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. The combination of Rachel Brosnahan and the incredible, incredible writing team over there, and the directors that all maintain this incredible tone of Mrs. Maisel, I got so much love for that show, so I gotta give it to Rachel Brosnahan for lead actress. Those bags you hear are Spidey playing in the unpacking materials, so Spidey is making his cameo appearance. Let's go over to lead actor in a limited series. We've got Jeremy Irons, Hugh Jackman, Jeremy Pope, Mark Ruffalo, and Paul Mescal. What a murderer's row of talent. Any of these gents in it to win it. I happen to really, really enjoy Jeremy Irons' performance as one of the few characters we've met before on Watchmen, so I think he carried that torch well from the graphic novel through the movie, which got some nods into the show. That's going to be my pull there. Lead actress in a limited series. Again, Regina King. I mean, Watchmen. I gotta give it to Watchmen. Giancarlo Esposito getting a nod for supporting actor in a drama series for Better Call Saul makes me very, very happy. As does Bradley Whitford getting some love for The Handmaid's Tale. Bradley Whitford is so good. So I really hope one of those two gents get it. But I mean, I've heard nothing but good things about Nick Braun, which is Succession. Jeffrey Wright's always a powerhouse. Billy Crudup on The Morning Show. I wish I had Apple TV because I've heard The Morning Show is great. Have not seen The Morning Show yet, but it's got a lot of love from the Emmys. Let's just do a couple more of these because it's the Emmys. You guys can find these lists. I'm just giving my takes. Supporting actress in a drama. I have not seen any of these shows, again, except Ozark, but Julia Garner blew me away season 1. She came out of nowhere. I didn't know her work at all, and I was so impressed. Supporting actor in a comedy series, we've got Sterling K. Brown for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel or Tony Shalhoub. Obviously, I got my Maisel bias. But we've also got some Mahershala Ali action for Rami. And the big surprise is there's been some SNL love this season. Brad Pitt is actually up for an Emmy for his turn hosting SNL, which is very exciting to me. So very curious how that all goes. Yahya Abdul-Mateen II for Watchmen is a supporting actor in a limited series. I'm very excited, so proud of Yahya's work. For the last 5 years, he's been killing it, and to see the TV Academy show him some love. The dude's career is pitch perfect, and everything he's got coming up is just going to make him even bigger. He's such a great actor, and he's so fascinating, and he's Spidey, as promised. He told me on the show that he has 2 degrees. He has one in architecture and one in acting, and he was going to build the stage if no one would cast him. And I love the concept of just working her ass off. He was literally going to build the stage to act upon if no one would work with him. So now he's getting Emmy nominations, and that is just the coolest work ethic, and one of the coolest dudes I've had the pleasure of interviewing and speaking with. I'm going to go over to, let's see, let's pop through here. Variety talk show series is a category that means a lot to me because I want to host one of these shows. In the long term, a late night talk show is the goal. So Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Full Frontal with Samantha Bee, Jimmy Kimmel Live, Last Week Tonight with John Oliver, and Late Show with Stephen Colbert. I don't even know who I'd pull for here. That is a hell of a lineup, an incredible array of talent, and I'm very, very excited. For the rest of these, check out Variety, check out /Film, Google Emmy nominations. I don't want to just sit here and read the internet at you, but I'm very excited for all the stuff going on. I'm going to check into the chat real quick. Let's see. People are liking the pillows. Hell yeah. What did I do last night? I was on Schmodown POV last night, and they were exceptional hosts. I had a really great time guesting over there. If you type in Coy-Jandreau Schmodown, I popped up in their show yesterday. It is up right now as we speak. Let's see. People are saying Kristen Bell was snubbed. I could say that for The Good Place. I haven't seen the show yet, but I hear she's great. Did I ever watch Becker, Ted Danson, or 3 Men and a Baby? I've seen 3 Men and a Baby, and Ted Danson is great. Let's see, and Spidey Cat is here. The people are excited. Okay, Conan is always incredible, man. Conan is great. I like Kimmel too, though, so I gotta say I don't feel like I'm gonna pick one or the other because I got love for both. But that is the Emmy conversation we're gonna have today. So much Emmy goodness. I'm so glad Spidey's here for Snuggles because now I feel less weird in shorts. Spidey Cat is the best distraction. Hi, buddy. People on the show, they love you. It's a great cameo appearance by Spidey Cat. He's my co-host. Today it's him and Brad. All right, we're going to dive into the next bit of news, which is the San Diego Comic-Con goodness. Last thing before we leave the Emmys. John Mulaney and the Sack Lunch Bunch getting an Emmy nod makes me very, very happy. If you haven't seen John Mulaney's Sack Lunch Bunch, it is on Netflix. You should watch it immediately. It is one of the best things to happen to streaming ever. John Mulaney is one of the best comedians working, and the special is just his big ol' heart on display, and it's so much fun, and it reminds you of so much of the strange TV you ended up watching when you were homesick from school. It is a real weird time. It's a real good time. John Mulaney, Sack Lunch Bunch, and one of the best, I'm not even being facetious, one of the best Jake Gyllenhaal performances to date on John Mulaney's special. Check it out. It's special. It's very good. Okay, over to the world of Comic-Con, we're going to talk about some highlights. Comic-Con was this weekend, and it was a very hard weekend for me because I am a giant Comic-Con fan. Every year it is my favorite weekend of the year. Hanging out at the gas lamp, doing press in the hotels, running around like a crazy person at night, seeing friends that live down the street from me that I only see at Comic-Con because that's how it works. It's my favorite weekend because I get work done, but I also meet new people that are like-minded, and I kind of set up the rest of my year. It's kind of like my New Year's. I make a lot of contacts for meetings. I set up a lot of interviews for the future. I kind of lay out my groundwork. So to be honest, I'm feeling very uneasy or just not, like, there's no foundation under my feet. There's nowhere to launch from, and it feels very strange to not know what my year is going to be. And that's kind of where we all are with quarantine and coronavirus and everything else. But this is one of those weekends where the COVID impact is very much like through July 2021. I don't know what this year is going to bring. So it was a really weird weekend for me. I know a lot of people were posting like Comic-Con memories on Twitter and Instagram, and I made a folder of my favorite photos, but I couldn't bring myself to like pick my favorites, and it felt like I didn't want to invest more sad energy. Like I was like, I'm already bummed about this. I don't want to look at photos. So I ended up not diving into the memory well of Ghosts of Con Past. Maybe I'll do it in a couple weeks when it's less sensitive. but I'm definitely missing Comic-Con this weekend. That said, this weekend there was some cool stuff. It was a much smaller Comic-Con. A lot of places and people, apologies for the stutter, a lot of places and people are seeing it as a failure in that it only was doing about 15,000 views on YouTube on average, and you know that's not San Diego numbers, especially in the years where there'd be something that leaked or followed up right after a Hall H announcement. It's not the numbers you'd expect. But there was a lot less exclusives this year. Marvel wasn't there in a big way. DC wasn't there in a big way. DC had their own event simultaneously with all the Justice League stuff. We're going to talk about that after San Diego. But it was really interesting to see what the con would be like without those events, and there were moments, there was some fun. I really enjoyed all the Keanu Reeves stuff, both the Constantine 15-year retrospective Collider did, as well as all the Bill and Ted information. That was great. We had some really cool comic announcements, like the Superheroes at Home announcement from Marvel is exciting. We got the Batman 100 costume reveal right before Comic-Con, so I feel like that was going to be a Comic-Con announcement. But overall, I didn't find myself being drawn personally to the Comic-Con at Home experience. So I'm hoping, depending on where we are as a world next year with, the Rona and everything else, maybe we'll be physically at San Diego again. But if not, then I'm curious how it adjusts and how digital Comic-Cons, adjust going forward. That said, I think there is an opportunity to have interviews with talent and make it captivating for the audience in different ways. And I think cons are going to find their footing as this goes on into new and creative ways to make the digital experience different. There's no way to replicate what it feels like to be in the room, so you need to make this a more interesting and appealing medium, and I'm really excited to see how that develops. Speaking of, I'm actually doing a con digitally August 15th and 16th. It's called Mainframe Comic-Con. I'm going to be one of their main hosts. I'm going to be doing a lot of moderating and panels. I'm going to be hanging out with a number of my heroes. Donnie Cates is there, Al Ewing is there, Mark Waid is there. There's just an insane array of talent. I'm extremely excited to talk to a lot of these folks about comic books. That is Mainframe Comic-Con, August 15th and 16th. So in 2 weeks, very, very excited. So check that out, and we'll be announcing who I'm talking with and all of those details as we get closer and closer to it. I'm very excited for Mainframe Comic-Con. But admittedly, a little bummed with San Diego Comic-Con. I don't know what they could have done differently. I don't know what felt like it was missing, but man, I'm missing Comic-Con this year. And it's not anybody's fault. It's not San Diego's organizers' fault. They did an incredible job. Nothing crashed, really, and things moved right along. But it definitely wasn't the spectacle that obviously the real-life in-person one is. So that is the situation with SDCC. I'm proud of Collider for putting together so many of those panels. Steve Frosty was just killing it that whole weekend. But we'll see how things develop, and we'll see how things go as timing moves along. Over in the chat, we've got mukbang reviews with the always awesome Love. I appreciate it. What a weird year. This is just support for you and your shows. Love your cat. Do you have a favorite movie of the year? The Gentleman. I think The Gentleman is my favorite movie so far this year. It was 4.5 stars for me, and I just had my second 4.5 star film, which I'm going to be talking about at the end of this episode. We're going to be talking about Palm Springs. Palm Springs is my favorite quarter 2 going into quarter 3. I guess it's quarter 3 now. My favorite quarter 3 movie, my favorite quarter 1 movie was The Gentleman. So those are both in my top. We're all seeing so many less movies. There's so much less coming out at us, so it's going to be hard to make my top of the year. Or maybe it'll be easier to make my top of the year. But I'd say The Gentleman and Palm Springs are a nice, comfortable distance in that first and second place spot, and then third and so on. So I'm excited to see more things. I haven't gotten to catch Capone yet. I haven't gotten to catch, what else is out there? King of Staten Island. There's a number of films that I'm really excited to go wider, so to speak, onto streaming services. I didn't like Invisible Man as much as a lot of other people did. I gave it a B. I'm also not much of a horror movie fan, so it doesn't make the top list for me most likely, unless we only have like 3 more movies this year. But very comfortably, The Gentleman, Palm Springs. All right, thank you as ever, Mukbang Reviews. I appreciate you. Over in the world of news, we found out today, speaking of movies and theatrical and releases and all of those things, that AMC struck a deal with Universal this morning. Now, I know y'all, if you watch this show, especially if you're a longtime viewer, I'm a diehard theatrical movie experience guy. I like being in the theater. I like the act of being sat, watching, encapsulated with my people, just experiencing movies together, and that's really hard to replicate at home, and streaming has its merits, but there is so much to the theatrical experience that can't be replicated, in my opinion. So this news scares the shit out of me. There is now, it used to be about 3 months, that was the theatrical window. That was the last like 10 years. More than 10 years ago, it was like 6 months. There was a time where it would be a year until a movie was available on VHS or what have you, and it had a full theatrical run. Movies would play in theaters for a very, very long time before there was any hope of seeing it at home, which allowed for the theater industry to thrive in a different way. The deal they struck today, it's just with Universal, and Universal has, their various franchises, their monster franchises, their Fast franchise, they're a huge studio. AMC, the biggest movie theater chain in the world, and Universal, one of the biggest studios, struck up a deal. There is only a 17-day theatrical window. So from the day it opens in theaters to when they're allowed to put it on premium VOD is only 17 days now. Now, at the beginning of this, Universal said, screw you, AMC, we're done with you. There was no playing of Universal movies in theaters, so this is better. But this does give a new precedent for other studios to adjust. This changes the precedent for what other studios might expect from AMC. There is some, positivity that maybe this, if VOD does well enough that the movies can have less box office expectations, we can have more low to mid-budget films. There's hope there that, finding an audience like a cult following on home video can balance the scales of blockbuster films. But I'm scared for the mid to high budget films that now people watching at home will never experience the full thing. So I know a lot of people get mad at me because I'm very ride or die movie theater, but I think this is a really tricky precedent. I think it's better than nothing as far as Universal playing movies at AMC, but is Regal going to follow suit? Is Cinemark going to follow suit? Are Sony and Disney and other studios going to jump on this? And it's going to be really interesting, so I'm going to be reporting on this as the story develops, but as of today, it is a mere 17-day window. So it went from 3 months to less than 3 weeks today. Fascinating. We will have to see. All right, over in the Streamlabs, we've got a Hitman Houston saying, "Are you a sorcerer? Is Spidey Cat your familiar? Oh my God, are you Felix Faust?" Yes, I'm a sorcerer. Yes, Spidey Cat is the most familiar, and I am not Felix Faust, but I respect the reference. But yes, sorcery, yes. Thank you very much, Hitman Hudson. And Mukbang Reviews asks, please explain your t-shirt. Thank you. This is a Life magazine cover of Bubbles, I believe. I believe this is Bubbles, Michael Jackson's monkey riding a bicycle. I'm a giant monkey fan. My spirit animal, it's funny, after the last question about being a familiar in Spidey Cat, my spirit animal before my son was born, I've always been obsessed with monkeys. I think they're fascinating. I think we are so alike. I think that it's really interesting how their habits, we evolved from them, so they've been like us for a lot longer. I'm saying that we're like them, but the direction evolution goes. But it's fascinating to watch animals that are so similar to us in their natural habitat. So I'm obsessed with apes and monkeys and creatures that have the freedom to fling their own poop, but the freedom to be animals in organized societies. And then we take it a step further, and we're always stressed and we're always angry, and we're such a different creature. So the freedom and excitement of monkeys has always been rad to me. So this is a monkey on a bicycle because it's kind of that middle ground. Like it's heartbreaking to see animals trained to do silly human antics, but it's also why it's so fascinating is seeing that line blur between the animal kingdom and the human kingdom. And I just love monkeys. So this is the cover of Life magazine with a monkey that is riding a bicycle that I do believe was Michael Jackson's monkey. I'm a casual MJ fan. It's not this shirt isn't for Michael Jackson. It's for a monkey on a bicycle because I love monkeys. I think that answers your question. That is the shirt. Okay, let's get back over to the news. This week we also found out that we are getting a cereal from Dunkin Donuts, guys. Dunkin Donuts is making a coffee-infused, coffee-flavored, caffeine-present breakfast cereal. It's coming in 2 flavors from Dunkin Donuts. I am a huge Dunkin Donuts fiend. There's a Dunkin Donuts near my place now, which is very dangerous. I'm there way too often. There was a time, the first 7 years I lived in Los Angeles, there was no Dunkin Donuts That's not true. 6 years. The first 6 years I lived in LA, there was no Dunkin' Donuts. As soon as I'd fly home, the second I got off the plane in Boston, Dunks. As soon as that Dunks was empty, there was probably a Dunks within a mile or so, get another Dunks. Where I grew up and went to high school, there was literally, not kidding, not exaggerating, 3 Dunkin' Donuts within a mile in any direction. So there was a Dunks a mile that way, a Dunks half mile that way, a Dunks in the school. Dunkin' Donuts is part of my blood. Now there's Dunks on the West Coast. The first one was in Santa Monica, which was about an hour from me at the time. I would quest for Dunkin' Donuts. It's a passion, it's an obsession, it's a love. I love Dunkin' Donuts. They're making a breakfast cereal that I can have safely unrefrigerated in my cabinets, that I can wake up and taste Dunkin' Donuts, that has a little bit of caffeine in it. I don't know if the world's ready for me to have coffee with my Dunkin' coffee cereal, but that's what's going to start happening. I have not been this excited for a cereal since I was a child, and I'm ready. I'm ready for the zeal. So I hope y'all are ready, because Dunkin' Donuts cereal, I'm going to try to get them to sponsor me. I'm going to try to fill my entire place with just Dunk cereal. 2 flavors coming at you this fall. Dunk cereal. Keep an eye on your aisles. Keep an eye on the shelves at your grocery store. If any of you get Dunk cereal before me, please tweet me. Let me know how it tastes. Take photos. I'm very curious. I'm very excited. Perhaps too excited. Dunkin' Donuts cereal. That was almost the headline of this week's show, but I was like, you know, people watch me for movie news and comic book news, and this would just confuse people. But it means a lot to me. The Emmy nominations were this morning, and that was a very big deal, but perhaps a bigger deal is Dunkin' Donuts cereal. I need it. Okay, we got the chat. The chat is saying, Legautland asks, I don't know if this is long-term, but I think the changing studio-theater relationship is inevitable based on the change of technology with VOD and the world with COVID. I totally agree. I think it's inevitable. I'm not happy about it, but I think it was inevitable. Cannot argue there. Star Drew, I love the MVP Hockey Monkey movie. Yes. The deal will mostly just affect how low-budget films, but if they're performing really well, Universal can keep them in theaters for longer. Sure. Just finished Saga, and that last page we had me like, yes, still absolutely love the first 54 issues and can't wait for the next half. Miranda, hell yeah, so glad you're digging Saga. Welcome to the crazy Brian K. Vaughan, man. Whew. Would it be the same as Reese's Puff cereal or the chocolate Cheerios cereal? No, because it's coffee flavored, not chocolate flavored, and it's got caffeine in it, and it's Dunks coffee, so it's got that very special Dunkin' Donuts flavor kit. The Dunkin' Donuts experience is like nothing else. So yeah, I love a good, Reese's Pieces cereal. I love some Reese's Puffs. I love some chocolate Cheerios from time and again, but there's nothing like Dunkin' Donuts coffee. And that's what it's hopefully going to taste like. I haven't had it yet. Let's see. Did I see the black Superman suit? It looks awesome. Okay. Let's talk about SnyderCon / JusticeCon, whatever they called it this weekend. I meant to talk about that following San Diego Comic-Con talk, but I got excited about Dunk's cereal. It was fascinating that there is a man, a singular entity with enough clout that he will go against the entire San Diego Comic-Con and have more news than a lot of the individual panels we're having. And I think it was handled really well. I think it was exciting. I think I'd seen that clip before. I don't know if it leaked a couple years ago, but I feel like I'd already seen that clip. I don't know where or how, but I've seen it. And it was still just as exciting to see it presented. It was very exciting to see Alfred and Henry Cavill as Superman in that black suit. It's obviously always going to be great to see Henry Cavill as Superman. I'm a huge fan of that man as Supes. I'm really excited to see hopefully more of the versatility that we know Henry Cavill can bring. So I'm really in. I'm really excited. I think it's going to be a great thing that we get 6 hours of the Snyder Cut over the course of shows. I think as a series it's much better suited. I think this is a much closer approximation to the Snyder Cut trilogy we could have gotten with BVS leading into 2 Justice League films. I've always considered that a trilogy. I guess with Man of Steel it's a quadrilogy. So it's either a quadrilogy, a trilogy, or a part 1 and part 2 depending on how you see it. But I feel like Man of Steel started it and that was going to launch into a thing. Irregardless. Which is now a word in the dictionary. I apologize. Irregardless. My point being that what fascinates me about fandom is once something catches fire like that, there's so much passion behind it that even something like San Diego Comic-Con was kind of overshadowed. So I think this result is going to be an insane push for HBO Max. I think the best thing they actually could have done was had Snyder Cut wait and gestate and build this following, and this is going to change the streaming landscape. One movie is set to change streaming arguably bigger than Stranger Things did for Netflix, because the Snyder Cut has a way bigger, like Stranger Things was an unknown that blew up. The Snyder Cut is so anticipated, and I think it's going to be great as a multiple episode series. I think we're going to have a really cool opportunity with everyone at home to do post, and visual effects. Deborah Snyder, I think, is a brilliant producer. Her saying that they're much better off on VOD is very exciting for me. Obviously, it's a tentpole film, so I'd love to see it big. Maybe one day they'll release it in limited theaters. But for now, HBO Max, very excited for the footage, very excited for the Snyder Cut, very excited for everything that came out of JusticeCon or SnyderCon or whatever it was officially called. So yeah, the black suit looks great. Very, very much in. Okay. Let's see. Remember how last time I was on, I watched In Bruges or Cobb Class? Yeah, I'm now studying cinema and comics and superheroes. Any current superhero runs worth checking out? Lily Morton, hell yeah. You watched In Bruges for college. I remember that. That makes me so happy. And now superhero runs worth checking out. Good God. Okay, Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil is one of the best Daredevil runs of all time. It's on issue 21 this past week. So you're 21 issues behind. That's not a lot considering how good this run is. And you can read that in like the best week of your life. Reading that is going to change things. I would also say Spider-Man Life Story is a miniseries also from Chip Zdarsky that really captures Spidey well. Ultimate Spider-Man is from the year 2000. It's 20 years old, but I'd still maintain it's one of the best Spider-Man runs of all time. If you want a short, darker run, Kraven's Last Hunt. Batman Hush is a really good DC introduction. Mr. Miracle's a 12-issue maxi series that I'd highly recommend if you want a more mature and psychological, impactful superhero tale. Mr. Miracle's brilliant. The new Wonder Woman arc starts this week, Tuesday. Today, a new creative team takes over Wonder Woman with issue 759, so that's a good place to start with Wonder Woman. If you want more indie fare, I would say like Scarlet from Brian Michael Bendis is a really cool book about Portland and police brutality, and it's very much a prophetic piece of comic book cinema. It feels cinematic and it's comic book. Saga is life-changing. The book Saga, Brian K. Vaughan's 54 issues in. Let's see if you have a specific phrase here. What have I... Okay, I think superhero runs. I swayed around from superheroes. Those were like 5. I'd recommend any of those. Check those out. Those are good superhero runs. Let's see. I don't trust baristas. It's like, I don't like with wine, so I like cheap wine. I hope I never don't like Dunkin Donuts. I'd rather be like a peasant and enjoy it personally, because I don't like $8 coffee. But I know that makes me a plebeian, but this is one of those things I like being ignorant about. Let's see. No, they released it as a bonus scene after Justice League in the normal suit. Got it! Okay, I appreciate it. How am I going with The Last of Us? Have you played any more of the game? Also, I've been reading, watching lately. I've not played since that day. I got busy with Schmodown work. I got busy with work. I got busy with moving. I have not touched The Last of Us since the very beginning. That one review I made, but I plan to. I'm also about to resume My Hero Academia, both for John Getz. And I just watched Beasts of No Nation for the great AJ Lancaster, and the review just went up 2 days ago. So I've been catching up my Patreon stuff, and AJ's so good at like curating these awesomely dense films that make me like restructure and reanalyze my perspective. So those always take me like that whole day, which is great. So I really had a good time with Beasts of No Nation. It actually took me a while to get the review where I wanted it. But now that I've done one of my Patreon reviews, I'm doing My Hero Academia, so I need to watch a chunk of that. And then once I'm caught up on my work, I plan to get back into The Last of Us. Also, everything I've been reading and or watching has been work-based, so I'm basically just reviewing it wherever I can. Palm Springs is the first thing I watched for fun. I'm going to talk about that here in a moment. I hope that answers your question. Mukbang reviews, thanks for choosing irregardless as a word. I can't believe it made it into the dictionary. I hated that word, but now it's legit. It is legitimately legit. It is the definition of legit. It is legit in the way that legit is legit, both as slang and legitimately legit. So yes, irregardless is legit. Legit. Do you use any other made-up words? I still say hella sometimes. I say wicked all the time. It's not a made-up word, but I use it incorrectly. I use it as in like wicked smart, or like it's wicked good. It's wicked hot. So like as a adjective to describe something as very something, wicked is not by definition that. So I say wicked. I swear a lot, which aren't necessarily words. When I'm in pain, I swear and make up words. Yeah, I make up. I think the beauty of the English language is that since it's so convoluted and fucked, that making shit up is the only benefit. If you don't speak English as a first language, trying to learn this concept of a language is insane. I tip my hat to anyone that learned English later, because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, there, and there. The fact that words that shouldn't rhyme, and the fact that words that are spelled the exact same without one letter don't. There's some stupid in this language. So I like using the language very liberally and freely and making shit up often. So I make up a lot of my words mukbang reviews, and I don't believe in the structure of grammar, which is why I like speaking much more than writing. When I write articles, people can give me notes. When I speak, it's on me. I don't like the visual of people being like, that's not how that goes. And I'm like, that's how I type like I talk, so it's very dangerous. So yes, I make up all sorts of fucking words, and it's more fun than being adherent to the structure of language. It's a learning and living language. So I play with it, if that makes sense. Okay. I don't trust baristas. I need this on a shirt. I don't trust baristas. Coy-Jandreau 2020. Hey Zeus, what up, man? Hey Zeus, hey Coy, can't wait to go out and get my books tomorrow. Also, Umbrella Academy in 3 days is being released. Read the boys, Jesus Christ. See, that's a perfect example. Read and read is two different words, and I just said it as read because it looked like read until I read it in context of the sentence and I realized it was read. Read the boys. Jesus Christ, the book is way more violent than the show. Missed you, man. Hopes all is well. Thank you, Jesus. I appreciate the welcome back. It feels good to be back. I'm so happy to be here. The boys is not fucking around in comic or show form, and yes, the comic is somehow even more intense than the show, and that is saying something. My boy Derek Robertson does not mess around with those panels, and it is a very intense book. I love it very much, but it is not for the faint of heart. That said, I'm really glad you're enjoying it, and I'm really glad your comic store is back open. I remember you were someone whose comic store was closed for a couple weeks because of COVID, so welcome back to going more often. Very excited for you, and thanks for chiming in. I appreciate it. All right, Academy Season 2 does drop Friday, which means next week's Koi Cubed is going to be an Umbrella Academy Season 2 review. That means next Tuesday, I will have probably watched all of it. I'm actually having a friend come over that I've been around in COVID. We both tested negative. We've been hanging out, so this person is safe in my little pod. So we're going to be watching it together over the weekend, so I'm really excited to hang out and watch Umbrella Academy all weekend. So stoked. Also this weekend, we are bringing back comic books and craft beer on Sunday. This Sunday, a very special Sunday episode. Jenny Newman is coming back. Jenny couldn't make it on Friday, so we moved it to Sunday. This Sunday, more comic books and craft beer, and maybe some Umbrella Academy talks, because I will have watched some of it by then. But yes, next week's Koi Cubed will be full of glorious Umbrella Academy reviews for Season 2. Probably some spoilers. Gonna open it up non-spoiler and then go all the way in, because it will have been out for like 4 or 5 days. So that's where we're gonna be. I am very, very excited for Umbrella Academy Season 2. Season 1 was mind-blowing. Last year we got Umbrella Academy, The Boys, and Watchmen. How lucky are we, man? Like, if any one of those shows had come out in a separate year, it would have been my favorite show of the year, and we got all 3 of them in 1 year. We're so lucky. It's so cool. Okay. Legault, the point of language is merely to communicate as long as you can convey your message, power to you. Exactly. Yes. So that's why made-up words are a concept, right? Because we're all making up words. All of this is made up. I agree. Let's see. Maybe if I have to send you Tim Hortons cereal, I think this is the thing to compare to the Dunkin Donuts cereal. There's a Tim Hortons cereal. I love Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons is so similar to Dunks in like price point, quality, taste, environment. Tim Hortons is my shit. I respect that. Let's see. AJ said, woo, bubbles. I meant that concerning COVID, not beer. But why not both? Respect. Yes, we will be doing more bubbly this weekend, and by bubbly, I don't mean champagne, I mean beer. Brought to you by Tavour. Tavour is still doing that awesome deal where using the code KOI10 gets you $10 off after you spend $25. So download the app, Tavour, and get $10 off beer. There's a craft beer code with my name in it. COY10 gets you $10 off beer at Tavour, which makes me very proud. Also, I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram, but if you do, I box with this thing called Quiet Punch, and I teamed up with the Quiet Punch folks to get you guys 10% off. So if you want to get a Quiet Punch system, which has an in-app video log, which is all free once you are a member of Quiet Punch. Once you order a Quiet Punch, you're one of them, and there's free tutorials to learn how to box. And you can do like a 3-day plan, a 5-day plan, a 10-day plan, and they're all in there. So you can pick one day and be like, oh, I can actually do 10 days in a row. And you just go through and learn this boxing technique, and it's really, really cool. You can build up to like a 45-minute workout, but you can really start small. And it all comes with gloves, the mounting equipment, the bag itself, and you get 10% off if you use the code KOIJ10. So for beer, KOI10. For burning calories instead of gaining them, KOIJ10. COY space J10 gets you 10% off a Quiet Punch setup for boxing, which I'm very excited about. So I've teamed up with 2 of my favorite companies for beer and for boxing. Booze and calorie burn. Very excited. Okay, let's get back to the news. I got excited. I went into the chat and I kept played around for too long. We also got this week some footage from Scott Derrickson that was never before seen. It is... I don't want to be hyperbolic. It is one of the most anticipated bits of footage that I didn't know I anticipated. You know that picture of Benedict Cumberbatch in Doctor Strange garb in a comic book store? The backstory is adorable. While they were filming Doctor Strange in New York, they just walked into the comic store that was next door, and it's all on camera. It's like a 2-minute clip. It's adorable. Scott Derrickson posted to his Twitter. There's a reason that man made such a loving nod to Doctor Strange in a movie. Like, you can feel the love in this one clip. And you can also feel the love Benedict Cumberbatch has for the character. He's so cool to his fans in this clip, and there's just so much love in this 1-2-minute jaunt. So check it out. It's on Scott Derrickson's Twitter, and it is delightful. And it reminds you why movie making is such magic. It's so cool to see it all come together. All right, last bit of news before I talk about Palm Springs. Sam Rockwell, yes, that Sam Rockwell, the great Sam Rockwell, is set to play country star Merle Haggard for Amazon. And that's exciting, because it's Sam Rockwell. Anything he does, I'm in. But he's set to do his own singing. Now, we've seen Sam Rockwell act. We've seen Sam Rockwell dance. Now we're going to see Sam Rockwell sing. I am ready for triple threat Sam Rockwell as Merle Haggard. I'm very excited. This is coming to Amazon. Sam Rockwell's a goddamn genius. I'm really curious about these streaming wars, so every time there's a big enough announcement like this, I'm like, man, Amazon, point for Amazon, point for, HBO Max, point for Netflix. So I'm glad there's competition. It's never good when a titan of industry doesn't have competition. That's how Amazon's going to be $1 trillion company, or he will be because of Amazon. It's good to have competition. And that's why I don't want every movie to feel like a Marvel movie. That's why I love that Spider-Verse is Sony. That's why I want a Sony universe of Marvel characters, because I don't necessarily want everything MCU-based. We wouldn't have gotten Logan if everything was MCU. We wouldn't have gotten Deadpool if everything was MCU. I want Zack Snyder's vision to be completed with the glory that will be the Snyder Cut, but I also want to see where we go with Shazam 2 and Aquaman 2 and Birds of Prey 2 and the different direction they were going. And all of those are different flavors. So I think the more versatility, the better. And I think Amazon, Netflix, HBO Max, all of these companies have really different strengths. And I think Amazon is a great home for the Sam Rockwell country singing glory. So I'm very excited for it. So Sam Rockwell, one of my favorite actors. I'm curious how he sings. We will see. We will see. Okay, over to Palm Springs, y'all. Palm Springs is my second favorite movie of the year, and that's only because The Gentleman was made for me. Palm Springs is one of the most surprising comedies of the year. I'm a big fan of the digital shorts that Lonely Island did, but I haven't watched what's his cop show? Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I haven't watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm a fan of Andy, but I don't know all of his work. So I was very casually excited to watch this movie. I'd seen the trailer and I was like, this looks nice. But it was literally in my head, that movie with Andy and the girl from How I Met Your Mother. And I was like, that's all I knew. I didn't know J.K. Simmons was in it. I didn't know the plot, which is good because I got to enjoy the movie. I didn't know the scope of how weird it would get. And it really, I'm not going to give any spoilers away, so it's going to be hard to talk about this. But it really surprised me with the directions it took with the plot. And it really surprised me with, how do I not? The heart of the movie hits at different points than a standard 3-act structure, and that's the strength of the movie, is that it's able to really surprise you unsurprisingly, and it's just so good. The comedy's great, the heart is great, the directing is fantastic, the directions it goes that are not where you'd expect are still within story canon fare. The rules are amazing. It just feels like it was so much fun to film, and it was so much fun to watch. I watched The Old Guard twice because it actually improved my second viewing, and this is probably the only other movie next to The Gentleman I'll be watching a second time in its first 2 weeks out. I watched The Gentleman twice in theaters before the world closed, and then I think I'll be watching Palm Springs again within the next week or two to show people. It's spectacular. So if you haven't checked it out, it is a Hulu original. It is so funny. It is so heartfelt. It's one of my favorite, I can say this, it's a love story. It's one of my favorite love stories in years, and it is so real while being surreal, and I'm just glad it exists. So check out Palm Springs. It made me very, very happy. Okay, over to the Streamlabs. We've got another one from AJ Lancaster. A perfect pair of sponsorships. Let's get blasted on craft beer and punch things. I didn't intentionally put them together, but then the universe was like, hey, this Irishman likes to box and he likes to drink. He is accepted, he's a cliche. We should give him the sponsorship of cliche-ness and let him be a boxing, drinking Irishman and enjoy his time. And here we are with $10 off beer, 10% off punching. Honored, flattered, just drink responsibly and punch responsibly. Use your newfound knowledge of boxing responsibly. Use your newfound blood alcohol content level responsibly. That's all I ask, is you guys be adults and save some money. Because I like savings and I like punching and I like drinking. Also, not the healthiest shirt to wear. I like savings, I like punching, I like drinking. I don't trust baristas. So yeah, Palm Springs, highly recommend it. Let's get into some streaming recommendations, shall we? Comic books, I know we talked earlier, Lily asked about comic books I'm enjoying. These are my favorite comics from last week. These are just my top comics. If you guys want to know what I thought of each comic I read, my Patreon, a very reasonably priced tier. Every bit of comic books I read, I rate on Patreon. I think it's only my $15 tier. So for $15, you get to find out what I thought of each and every comic book I read every week. So that's like $2.50 a month or something. And then for $10, you get my Patreon only podcast, and for $5 you get the Discord. But if you get the $15, you get all of that. So for $15, you get all the comic recommendations, my extra podcast, and the Discord access. So I try to make the Patreon as tiered as possible, and I think the comic book tier is really rad, because if I can save you a few bucks on buying comics that I think are garbage or are great, then it's a really fun thing for me to get to do with you guys. So these are just my favorites. It's not all the comics I read, it's just the ones that I want the world to know they must read. So last week, for July 22nd, I highly recommend Action Comics 1023. It is a really fun, kind of isolated issue with Bendis playing around with the Clark Kent's Ma Kent, and then Con-El and his own son Jonathan Kent continuity. It's a lot of fun. We've also got Amazing Spider-Man Sins Rising #1, one of the darkest Spider-Man stories in a very long time. It is a Sin Eater focused issue and a Sin Eater origin book. It is very dark, not for kids, but very good. Batman 95, I'm loving James Tynion IV's run on Batman. This one is another great Punchline issue. Joker War is about to kick off. Very good stuff. Daredevil 21 is one of my first, I think it's like my 5th A+ of the year. It's an A+ comic book, which means I would change not a single frame. It is a comic book that is perfect from beginning to end, which does not exist in quotes. Perfection isn't real. Daredevil 21 is. Pick up Daredevil. Daredevil 21, brilliant. Decorum #3 is a new, I don't think it's a mini, I think it's an ongoing. It's a new series from Image, and it's about the code of ethics within assassins. It's about these assassins that have this code, and the first 2 issues were good, but then 3 just kicked off into this insane existential world of abstract art and rules and politeness, and it's fascinating. Decorum #3 is such a good issue. Detective Comics #1024, again, great Bat book. I love Bat Week, which tends to be the 3rd week of the month. Harley Quinn, Black and White and Red is a digital only, and I finally read the first 4 issues of that. Liked most of them, pretty solid run. New Mutants #11, we're finally back to New Mutants land after the COVID hiatus, and New Mutants continues to impress. The Resistance is a book from J. Michael Straczynski about a virus taking over the world and killing lots of people, and it was written before all this, and it feels very uncomfortable, but it's a brilliant read. I think it'd be great even not in Corona times, but in Corona times it's insane this book exists. Wolverine #3, Andy Kubert drawing Wolverine's always a great time, but this issue is such a well-written, fun take on Wolverine. Really enjoying this return to Wolverine, especially this issue. X-Men Fantastic Four #4 is my final pull from last week. That is Chip Zdarsky writing, the Dodsons on art. It is a really good reason for the X-Men Fantastic Four to fight. The story's great, the conclusion's solid. It's only 4 issues, so if you want to read a contained Fantastic Four or X-Men story, 4 issues. Check them out. Chip Zdarsky, one of the best writers working. All right, my recommendations for this week. So comics that are coming out tomorrow. I recommend you pick up Amazing Spider-Man 45, Archie 713, Ascender #11, Batman Superman #10, Cable #2, Captain Marvel 18, Dead Body Road Bad Blood 2, Empyre #3. I'm hoping it turns for me soon because Empyre is not winning me over so far. Tie-in comics, Empyre Captain America 1 and Empyre Savage Avengers #1. John Constantine Hellblazer is such a good title. Issue #8 is out this week. Kill Lock #6 concludes that mini. Kill Lock is a 6-issue miniseries. The final issue is out tomorrow. It's from IDW. It is like a badass Transformers. So if you like Transformers, This story has more heart than most books with humans in them. It's more human than most books with humans in them. Killlock is exceptional. Check it out from IDW. Legion of Superheroes number 7, very dense book, a lot of heroes. Plunge number 5 is a horror book from the Hill House line from Joe Hill. Spider-Man Noir number 2, if you like Nicolas Cage and Into the Spider-Verse, you might like his own book. That is Spider-Man Noir. It's on issue number 2. Suicide Squad number 7 from Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor is just such a good writer. His characters have so much pathos and earnestness, and it's always funny while being really sad. Like, he's so good at writing the highs and lows of humanity, and Suicide Squad captures those. Symbiote Spider-Man, Alien Reality number 5. I like Greg Land's work. A lot of people don't, but I really do, and this symbiote story is fun. It's an Elseworld with Spider-Man. I'm digging it. Wonder Woman 759 is probably my pull of the week. It is a new creative team. I think it's Mariko Tamaki over on Wonder Woman, and I'm very excited to see where Wonder Woman goes with 759. And then the final 2 are X Factor number 1, a new X book post Hoxpox. And finally, X-Men number 10 from Jonathan Hickman. A lot of comics this week that I would highly recommend. I'm very excited to get to reading. DC books are out today. Tomorrow is Marvel books and Image and IDW, and the rest of the house is DC, and the rest come out tomorrow. So I'm going to be reading tonight some DC books, and then I'm going to the comic store tomorrow to pick up my Marvel and Image and IDW stuff. Very excited about it. All right, let's check on the Streamlabs real quick. Mukbang, sorry if I missed it, but did the boys get any Emmys? If not, were you surprised? What about Umbrella Academy and Watchmen? Any nominations? I don't think the boys did. I didn't see any anyway. I didn't look at every single category because there's way more categories than you'd think. But Watchmen got 26, dude. Watchmen got more than any other. It's the most nominated show of the year, and I think deservedly so. So the Umbrella Academy, to my knowledge, did not, and to my knowledge, the boys did not. Live chat, feel free to correct me. I'm not sure if I'm right or wrong, but 26 nominations for Watchmen is amazing. So by all means, Watchmen deserved them, and they're right there. Next over in the super chat, Langley M. Neely wanted to say, hey, hope all is well. Also wanted to spread some financial love to my brother from another mother. Thank you, Langley. Tell Mama Jandreau I said hi. Dude, I very much appreciate it. I use Streamlabs for Super Chat too, so I don't miss anything. So it all came in here. So when I say Streamlabs, I mean both. Streamlabs is just a little easier to find because they get saved. So, Langley, thank you. I appreciate it. And I'll send my mom all of your best. She is the absolute best mom, and she's incredible. And to my brother from another mother, who also thinks my mom's rad, I appreciate you, Langley, very, very much. And thank you for the super chat / Streamlabs / love to my mom, because she's great. Okay, that is, let's see, that's everybody in there. Let's go back over to my streaming recommendations for shows and such, which is stuff and such simultaneously. Okay, we got on Netflix starting on August 1st. So these are my first week of August recommendations. Highly recommend. If you haven't seen any of these movies, check them out. So these are like my favorites of the new releases on various streaming services. So Netflix, Being John Malkovich, brilliant film. Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, one of my top 15 films of all time. A Knight's Tale, one of my top 10 films of all time. A Knight's Tale is the sexiest movie perhaps ever made. Sexiest cast. Dune might be on the same level, but A Knight's Tale is like everything. Mad Max, I mean, come on, it's Mad Max. Knights of Rodanthe, I'm a sucker for Nicholas Sparks. Knights of Rodanthe is the great Diane Lane and Richard Gere being lovers. And then Oceans 12 and 13, also on Netflix on August 1st. Over on Hulu, you got 3:10 to Yuma from James Mangold. What a Ben Foster performance. That whole cast is great. Ben Foster in that is next level. Top Gun, coming to Hulu. If you guys know me, you know I love Top Gun. Check out Top Gun if you've never seen it. And Up in the Air, one of my favorite scripts, perhaps ever. Up in the Air on Hulu. Amazon has nothing for me this week that I'm like exceptionally excited about, but next week there's some stuff on Amazon I'll be talking to you guys about. Same with Disney Plus, nothing this week, but there's some stuff next week. HBO Max, all of the Batmans are coming to HBO Max. Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, brilliant Richard Linklater films coming to HBO Max. Blade Runner Final Cut, The Change Up Unrated Cut, a fantastic film. Elf, it's Elf. The Fugitive, Harley Quinn Season 1 and 2 coming from DC over to HBO. So DC Universe exclusive is now an HBO Max show. I don't know about Season 3, but Season 1 and 2. August 1st, it's crazy. All right, and then I'll be watching that, by the way. I don't know if Sahil's in here today. I don't think I've seen him yet, but Sahil, I will be watching Harley Quinn. I know how much of a fan you are, and it is coming to HBO Max. I have DC. I've had DC Universe, but I use it for comics. But now I'll be able to watch it on my TV as well. HBO Max is getting Harley Quinn. Very excited. What up? Okay, Smack Talk, how you doing? We're here. I'll be watching Harley Quinn season 1 and 2 very soon, and it's coming to HBO. Okay, and then over on the last one, highly recommend Savages, unrated, a underappreciated Aaron Taylor Johnson performance in Savages. I remember loving that movie in theaters. I think Benicio del Toro is also in it. It's an intense movie, but I really loved it in theaters. Haven't seen it since. I will be checking it out on HBO Max because it's been years since I've seen it. So very, very excited. Okay, over to the chat before I head out. We might make this show under an hour today. That is always the goal. I always try to do under an hour because YouTube hates shows that are over an hour. It's like, yeah, it's too much talking. We're not gonna. Okay, I think I got everybody there. All right, checking on the regular chat scheme to make sure. All right, just general love is appreciated, and I'm glad we are all here today. Okay, guys, here we are. Be an adult, save some money, shirt number 2. All right, guys. I have not heard the Sandman audiobook yet. I am very excited about the exposure it's going to get for people to listen to Sandman. I listen to audiobooks like I'm reading. I can't multitask when it's something as awesome as Sandman personally. I can't like run and listen to Sandman. I can listen to podcasts sometimes, but I usually have to listen to music or something I've heard before. If it's new, I have a hard time multitasking because I'm very like honed in. So I haven't had the time to give Sandman the attention it deserves. So I haven't seen Sandman because I haven't seen it, but I also haven't heard Sandman because I plan to give it my all and my attention. So Varun, I have not checked it out yet, but I very much intend to, and I very much want to. I just want to give it the attention it deserves. I hope that makes sense. Okay, I think that is going to be everything for this week's show. I appreciate the hell out of y'all. We are in the new space. This is going to be the new home of Koi Cubed. I will see you all next week. Next week, we'll be talking about Umbrella Academy Season 2. We're going to be talking about whatever news broke. We're going to be talking about August comic books and more August streaming recommendations. Check out Palm Springs if you haven't yet. Read some comic books. Tell your family and friends you love them because it's really important. And thank you for being here. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for following me after a week off. And thank you to my patrons, those of you that are here. You helped me do this show. Heather Long, the ultimate patron who helps me get this show, any of my shows going. I appreciate each and every one of you. And thank you all very, very much. I will see you all next week. And I will see you Sunday for comic books and craft beer. If you are craft beer or comic book folk, I'll see you Sunday. So thank you for being here. And as always, thank you to comic books for existing. Much love, y'all.